Good afternoon. My name's John Turton, and I'm going to be doing a leadership video project on my cousin, Sarah Farley. And I chose Sarah for my leadership project because of her background and experience in the art world, which is a foreign area to someone like me. My background is in finance and accounting, which requires a more analytical thinking and plays an important part of my leadership style. Sarah is a leader in graphic design, which requires more of a creative mind than an analytical mind. I was curious to see if there were any similarities and differences between my own analytical based leadership style and those of a creative leader like Sarah. Start out a little background to Sarah. She majored in graphic design at a small private university in Rhode Island, which brought her into contact with many people and opportunities. These experiences allowed her to observe different people and behavior related to leadership. She began working with her current employer about 6 years ago. She started as a manager, overseeing just one person, and has worked her way up to her current position as a senior director, overseeing the largest department in her organization. Sarah mentioned that much of her knowledge and experience with leadership has come from her own professional experiences. But she did also mention that what really defined her leadership style was her participation in sports while growing up. Northhouse wrote about team leadership, and this style of leadership has clearly played a role in Sarah's development. Through team sports, Sarah learned to work with other people towards a common goal, but also learn not everyone can agree on the correct process to meet these goals. She recognized leadership includes listening to other people's ideas and learning to communicate effectively. She also learned that successful coaches match their leadership styles to players' skills and personalities. This reminds me of what we read with transformational leadership and also servant leadership, which both seem to be common styles with sports coaches in general. When I asked Sarah to define leadership, she responded that leadership is having enough empathy to build trust, also enough courage to make tough decisions, and finally, enough humility to realize there is much to be learned from others. These ideas are common with transformational leadership and also authentic leadership. Both styles require time to develop, since trust is a major component of both and cannot be earned quickly. Sarah described her own leadership style as servant leadership, and that focuses on the behaviors leaders should exhibit to put followers first and to support the followers' personal development. This leadership style also focuses on how leaders treat followers and the resulting outcomes of this. In reflecting on the people who had influenced Sarah's leadership development, her sports coaches, while growing up, played a huge part in her leadership perception and growth. She was impressed with how they appeared confident and decisive, and how they were able to motivate a group of young people to work hard and succeed. She also mentioned seeing the coaches focus on the personal development of each player, in addition to the bigger focus on winning. She witnessed firsthand how this leadership style motivated people and resulted in success at a young age. In her professional career, Sarah mentioned her supervisor as playing a big part as a coach and mentor to her. The qualities that she used to describe her current supervisor were that she put people first and would lead from behind. She also mentioned the supervisor makes her feel like she is in her corner and has her back and provides her with the guidance as needed. Finally, she mentioned how her boss taught her to have integrity and to put the interests of the team ahead of her own personal interests. These descriptions, of course, bring to mind the followership chapter in Northhouse's book, in addition to the basic ideas behind servant leadership itself. Um, when I asked Sarah to describe the qualities which come to mind when thinking of a leader, Sarah spoke of a good leader's ability to listen, which she feels is one of the keys to building trust. In addition, communication is particularly important as well. And as Sarah said, it's important to meet people where they are. A third quality which she believes good leaders possess is wanting the best for their followers, since what is best for them is usually directly related to what's best for the leader and the team. Finally, what I found to be really interesting, Sarah emphasized the need for leaders to assume good intentions. And what she means by this is that most people want to do a good job, and they do not want to disappoint. And she points out when a follower is struggling or making mistakes, there's a reason for it, which has nothing to do with intentions. She believes a leader's job is to dive deeper and uncover what the underlying reason might be for that follower's struggles. I really like this idea because I found myself at times taking followers' mistakes personally. And this week, for example, I was getting frustrated with somebody at work, and then the idea of good intentions popped into my head, and it helped me to focus on the underlying problem rather than staying irritated because something was not done the way I wanted. And for me, I noticed how often I really do this. Um, and I'm glad Sarah mentioned this because it was something I never paid any attention to. Um, And my conversation with Sarah Farley opened up my eyes in many ways. First off, I was quickly able to determine that there really was not much of a difference between leaders in analytical fields and leaders in more creative fields. Both disciplines share the same basic ideas of good leadership. The same things Sarah spoke about in her experience were the things I could relate to directly with my own experiences. I was also really interested in her focus on followers and their needs. She clearly displays a servant leadership style, but she also had bits of transformational and authentic leadership styles too. The chapter on followership in Northhouse book was also very evident throughout my communications with Sarah. Um, Her focus on followers was very clear and very evident, and very strong. Her early years in sports also brought to mind team leadership. Um, In closing, Sarah really seems to utilize all these different ideas and experiences in developing her own current leadership style. She's self-described servant leader, and I think that's probably how I would describe her leadership style. But like a lot of the leadership styles in Northhouse's book, a lot of these chapters can apply to individual people, and I think that was really evident as I was researching and interviewing Sarah. And that's it. In conclusion, I enjoyed this project, and it was very thought provoking. So thank you.